Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. Glad the weekend is here. Hope you are too. Hope you've had a great week. Today, a fun Friday show. Not only Robin Coleman from the Woods Humane Society, but this guy, you know his voice even if you don't know his name. Randy West has been the man behind the mic on some of the most iconic shows in television history. The Price is Right, Deal or No Deal, Supermarket Sweep, a lot more. For over 3 decades, he's been in the control rooms, the dressing rooms, the green rooms, and right in the middle of the whirlwind where TV magic and TV madness really happens. Now, Randy's pulling the curtain back. His new book, it's called TV Inside Out, a wild ride through the dysfunction, feuds, flukes, and felonies that shaped the television we thought we knew. From Johnny Carson's darkest secrets to Desi Arnaz and the mafia, lawsuits, and backstage hookups to life-changing cautionary tales, Randy has seen it all. Later in the show, he's going to join us, spill some stories you're not going to believe. Once you hear them, you might never look at your favorite TV shows the same again. Randy West with his new book today on Up and Adam. Also, like I said, the one and only Robin Coleman from the Woods Humane Society will do our Pet of the Week, and we got a really, really special one today, so stay tuned for that. All right, before we get into our chat, I was determined to find good news, a story that makes you feel good. Got a couple of them here. One, a 13-year-old kid, I love this, in Kansas, mowed lawns all summer to save up and buy a dirt bike. Then it turns out the bike he bought, it was hot. It was a stolen dirt bike. So he had to give it back, but without all the money. So there's a happy ending. The guy the bike belonged to started a GoFundMe to get this kid an even bigger, better bike. People online donated almost $5,000. Listen.
I had a plan for how to make money in the winter, how to make money in the summer, and he's very industrious.
And I was just like bewildered. It is insane. Like, it is horrible.
I'm so happy to have my bike back, but I just could not get the fact that there was a 13-year-old boy in Kansas that had put his hard-earned money into this bike. And him and his dad, I consider friends for life.
What? I'm going to get a new bike. Turns out better than I thought it was going to be. Stolen to a brand new dirt bike.
That's awesome. What a story. Love that. There was another one, 67-year-old guy near Toronto just got his wallet back after 51 years of it being lost. Lost it in high school, 1974. Still had his student ID and his driver's license in it, along with a 35-cent ticket to a hockey game. Isn't that funny? And then finally, a 16-year-old named Connor Belanger was tubing down a river in BC, Vancouver, saved a 1-week-old baby beaver that got separated from its mom. If you've ever seen one of them that young, they're super cute. An animal rescue place is taking care of it, plans to release it in the wild in 18 months. They say it will definitely would have died if this young guy hadn't scooped it up. Got some audio, check it out.
Slowly, kind of clawed its way up into my palm, with its front heft, and then I scooped it up. It felt awesome, and I felt super protective of it immediately.
And he just held on and let us kind of look, and just had so much empathy for animals. She would open her little eyes, look around, and then snuggle back in, just take care of me.
All right, well, it feels good to have a few stories that feel good, and that are good, and that end good. All right, let's get into our chat with our friend Randy West from the Tube. Before that, I want to thank our friends at Life Elements for being Up and Adam. You know I love a good local story, and this one's got heart, hustle. Best of all, it's got healing. Life Elements, based right here in Atascadero, a woman minority-owned company making small batch bath, body, wellness products that are straight up alchemy. Everything small batch, cruelty-free, made with real healing in mind. In addition to their spot in Atascadero, you could check out their products at the Hive in Arroyo Grande, the General Store, Paso, and of course, lifeelements.com, where if you use the promo code Adam, you'll save 15%. But I'd love for you to check them out, meet them. Get to 7425 El Camino Real, Suite O, back right corner. Life Elements. Check them out. Let them know you heard them on Up and Adam.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, our guest is the voice you've heard on some of television's biggest stages. The Price is Right, Deal or No Deal, Supermarket Sweep, and dozens more. For more than 30 years, Randy West has been in the middle of the action. From the studio floor to the control room, witnessing the flukes, the feuds, and flat-out chaos that's shaped the TV we grew up with. He's now telling those stories in a new book called TV Inside Out, a no-holds-barred look at the dysfunction, the legends, and the lessons from a lifetime in television. Randy West, it's cool to chat with you. I know you're in LA. Do you ever make your way up here, San Luis Obispo area, or what?
Not in a long time. I had a girlfriend who was in Pismo Beach.
Oh, there you go.
She was up at where the hell was she? Santa Cruz. We used to meet around that area.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so she's from Santa Cruz. You met in Pismo Beach.
There you go. Pismo and Santa Maria, places like that.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Randy, for being Up and Adam. Really appreciate you.
Sure thing, my friend.
Okay, so, man, you've been on some of the most iconic sets in television history, but not just on the set. You were in the control rooms, the dressing rooms, backstage where the real human stuff goes down. Yeah. What's the most, and you got a lot of them in this book, what's the most realist moment you might have ever witnessed behind the scenes, something so raw, it reminded you that this isn't just show business, this is real life with real stakes?
Yeah, and I wouldn't have said it unless we were just talking about it, about The Price is Right with Bob Barker. There's a new documentary I'm working on, 2 hours, going to be on the Peacock network, telling the real story of what went on with the models and The Price is Right. And I don't really like to talk about it much because I'm really not that kind of a gossip, but it's all coming out of the closet now because Holly Hallstrom, who was one of the models we loved, she's on the show, and a bunch of other folks who will be talking about the dysfunction backstage, not to roast Bob because he was a brilliant talent and a wonderful guy in some ways, but in other ways, there was a very dysfunctional place going on there. It's one thing when I don't talk to you and you don't talk to me, whatever, but when there's lawsuits going back and forth and people are having sex in the dressing rooms, and I mean, this is really insane stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the most dysfunctional place I worked, although it was also the most professional shop, if that makes any sense. It could be two things at the same time. The show went like clockwork, magically produced wonderfully, but craziness going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It was one of my dreams to be on Price is Right. So I saw it filmed probably about 5 or 6 times. And one of them I actually saw at the box office. They were bringing back Hollywood Squares, tried out for that, and got on Hollywood Squares, which, as you know, is in that same studio. So, or it was at the time. I don't know where it is now. But just the way that it's all happening around you was like, oh my God, this is a machine.
Yeah, it really is. And the crazy machine is, you mentioned they're both in Studio 33, that overnight they turn the studio from one show into the other. I mean, it is a machine, literally 24/7. There's something happening in these studios, ripping all that Price is Right down, bringing another show in, ripping the other show down, bringing it all back. It's a wild, big money business, and it has to run smoothly, or something goes wrong. But the people have a few screws loose. Let me give you an example. I thought a lot about this. Television's always looking for the next creative thing. What's different? We don't want to do the same thing over and over again. And it's supposed to be a creative business, but you take a creative company, let's say Disney, very known for being creative, but you could take the top CEOs of Disney and put them in a conference room for 4 hours, ask them to come up with something new, something different, and the only thing they come up with is a lunch order. The industry is reliant upon people who have a screw loose, to be creative and live outside the box, which is great for creativity, but adds to the backstage dysfunction. And the book is subtitled Flukes, Flakes, Feuds, and Felonies. And it's 500 pages of just that. People who have otherwise sane lives, who are looking for something to fulfill them, more money, more fame, whatever it is, and they just drive off the cliff, man. They're just into drugs and sex and all sorts of dysfunction. It's a wild study of the human condition. That's really it. The stories are entertaining, and wow, but on the other hand, it's a cautionary tale about how life can go so wrong.
It really is. You know, times, Randy, they're changing so quick, and you can't get away with now nearly what you could before. Even just go listen to old episodes of Howard Stern. You're like, you would never use that kind of humor now. Based on, of course, we went through the Me Too movement. So yes, I feel like there's an aspect of somebody was, you know, crappy in history, and it comes out. Look, it's going to come out. But is it fair to? How do you kind of wrestle with, like, yeah, we're judging yesterday, but with today's frame that really wasn't in place then? How do you do it?
I agree with you 1,000%. Everything has to be taken in the context of when and where and how and what was going on. So yeah, if you're digging up old stories, the way people talked to each other, use of curse words, or making what do you call it now? A dysfunctional workplace. What does HR call it?
Harassment. Yeah, right. Workplace environment. Right.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Hostile work environment.
Hostile work environment. I've been accused of that enough times. I should know it. No, I don't think that you can do that. So the stories aren't so much like from a time warp that makes them inappropriate. It's just inappropriateness. For example, go all the way back to I Love Lucy. You know, Vivian Vance and William Frawley were mortal enemies. They feuded. They hated each other. Even when the show was off, they were feuding for decades to come. You know, and that's inappropriate or unhappy or unprofessional, whatever you want to call it, no matter what the era is. You know, when Jerry Lewis threatened Joan Rivers' life. Yeah, I mean, that's not about being at the wrong time and it was acceptable at any point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's really where I'm focused on this stuff.
It's interesting. And there's so many stories. We've heard a lot about Johnny Carson. And it just seems like the more time passes and the more this guy is in our rearview mirror, we learn more and more just bad things about this dude.
Yeah. I mean, he was a womanizer. He was a heavy drinker. And the story that I don't tell much, but apparently George Wallace, the comedian, is telling it now. And therefore, I guess it's okay to say, or it's less shocking. But, you know, his son was living off of Johnny's money, which there was plenty of. He was a golf pro, and that's fine. And unbeknownst to Johnny, he started, the son, dating a black woman, and they had a child out of wedlock. And the word got back to Johnny, and Johnny got on the phone with his son. He said, you need to never see her again. You need to write her off and write that kid off, or the money gets turned off. Oh. And so does the inheritance. And he did not want it to be known that he had a granddaughter who was biracial.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, the son had other girlfriends, but this one was, you know, you need to disown, never see each other again.
Which is so backwards, because it's like not even the womanizing doesn't bother him because he's guilty
He's
of
the
that
womanizer.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even the way. Yeah. You got a ton of women. It's the fact that you had a kid with this one and it's the wrong color. It's so backwards to me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. How did you and when did you realize, Randy, that you're like, okay, yeah, I'm off stage, but I am still in the storm here. I am still in the swirling of these winds.
You can't not be. I mean, it's a small there's a lot of people working there, but it's a small area and everybody knows everybody else's business. And as guests come on the show, there's another opportunity to meet people and pick up stories over lunch. This is fascinating. But the workplace should be a sanctuary where you're free of all of this stuff, because we all have a job to do. You know, even if you're moving cars backstage at The Price is Right, you got to move them in time and to the right mark. You know, there's a great deal of precision, and you would understand as a broadcaster if you're hosting a show or reading prize copy. Yes, it's a new car, that's 2026 Mazda, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a requirement for concentration there. And the job only gets tougher if what's going on behind the scenes is outrageous. People are having sex in the dressing room, and people are arguing and filing lawsuits. It's crazy. And it really should be a hyper supportive place.
One of the names that I'm dying to ask you about isn't the most well-known name, but I really liked him. And you worked with Ray Combs, and that was a sad ending to him.
I loved Ray. Ray had a way with people that was just unbelievable. He was masterful as a stand-up. You can catch his opening appearance on The Tonight Show on YouTube. He's just magical personality. What happened? Well, he was in a car accident. on the Ventura Freeway. He ended up almost dead, and he ended up on a lot of painkillers. He became addicted to the painkillers, which could happen to people. His addiction interrupted the marriage because, the drugs will do that, separate people. And then it interrupted the balance with the kids. The wife threw him out of the house. He was living as a neighbor to me, and we would see each other every other night in the jacuzzi. We were in a large apartment complex. His wife threw him out, and I was out of my home because of the 1994 earthquake.
Right.
So we ended up in a transient apartment situation, and we'd see each other because I had worked with him, he had worked with me, and here he is. So we're talking, and he's starting to not make sense. He's off on the drugs, and okay, fine. That happens to people. And one day the security guard says, your friend's in trouble. I said, what happened? He said, well, we saw him the other night and he was hitting his head with a rock. And I'm like, what? So I saw Ray the next day and I said, what's going on with you? He said, well, I went to my wife's house and she called the cops and they put me on a 24-hour hold. They thought I shouldn't be in the house. She reported me as being out of my mind and whatever. They took him to a hospital. He talked his way out of that. And lo and behold, he ended up suicidal. And they put him on a 72-hour hold, which is, they check you into the hospital against your will. They put you in a psych ward and you're supposed to be one-on-one, meaning monitored. And they didn't monitor him. So he was on drugs. He was depressed. He lost his career. He was replaced on Family Feud. He lost his wife. He lost his kids. His life went down the toilet, basically, in all different ways. And he felt he had nothing more to live for, based, I guess, partially on drug-induced depression. And he hanged himself in Glendale Adventist Hospital when he's supposed to be watched. And the family got a multi-million-dollar settlement, but that didn't make anybody happy.
It is one of the saddest stories. Our family was actually set to be on the Family Feud right at that time, and it all got kind of postponed and stuff. Man, this was so good. Just too short. Randy, got to get you on sometime again. This book is awesome. It's not a tell-all. It's a tell-truth. This is, you were there, my man. I can't thank you enough for the time and for being Up and Adam. Man, thank you so much, Randy.
My pleasure, Adam. Thanks.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, the book is called TV Inside Out, available wherever books are sold. We'll also drop a link in the show notes, so it's easy for you to grab your copy. All right, straight into our favorite part about finding forever homes for dogs, even cats. We love the work of Robin Coleman. We love the work of the Woods Humane Society. Robin is back from vacation. It's great to chat with you. Robin, thanks for being Up and Adam.
Hey, Adam. I missed you.
I missed you. It's great to chat with you. How was your Hawaiian vacation?
Oh, magical, glorious. The 10 days out of the year, I trade in my cats and dogs for sea turtles and dolphins and float in the beautiful waters in Hawaii. And I loved every second of it.
I saw a video where you were just like dolphins all swimming around you. You were like the Snow White of the ocean over there.
You know what? I kind of was. It's so cool because I obviously would never get in this freezing cold water here on the Central Coast. And I'm literally in the ocean. I'm sitting on a floaty and there are dolphins jumping in front of me. So I start dog paddling to get closer and closer. And sure enough, I caught up to them and they just played in front of us for like an hour. It was so magical. I probably got like 8 feet from them. And the guy next to me had an underwater camera. So he sent me the videos and it was it's probably like top 3 things that have happened in my life. It was pure bliss.
That is so cool. Yeah. The video on your page was just like, oh my gosh, and I could see him underwater. I'm like, This is so cool. Yeah, what an experience. That's so neat.
And if I didn't have that video, I bet people wouldn't even believe that I was in the ocean swimming with dolphins. And then the next day I was swimming with turtles. It was magical.
Oh, well, this dog we have for a pet of the week is something so special.
Yes.
Sweet, sweet dog with a really sweet and definitely unique story.
Yes, a way to welcome me back this week. My first morning back in my office, they were like, we've got some dogs coming in. They've got some sad stories. We rescued a bunch. And one of them is, of course, a kind of a heartbreaking story. He's just a young pup that was just dumped out of school. Unfortunately, it looked like he had recently got his ears cut off with scissors, and he's just like a baby. And so we said yes to him. Of course, we wanted to help him. I got to go greet him as he came off of that transport truck, and I just was immediately in love. This is why I love animals so much. There he is, been through it, been living at a small little rural shelter, never been on a leash. I don't even think he had a treat before. And we open up that door and he just wiggles and gives us kisses, and he's just happy to be alive. I told him this was the best day of his life, and I promised him that we would find him a forever home that would love him and value him, and that he would never be hurt again. So that's why he's my pet of the week. I'm hitting it hard because he deserves a loving home. He should get loved on and get treats and get kisses and cuddles and never be hurt again. So we chose a name for him. It's I'm calling him Lucky Lennon because he found his way to woods, and we are going to find him that forever home. I searched for a male dog name that represented love, and Lennon came up as an Irish name that meant love or sweetheart, and that was it. I said, you're Lennon, and we're going to find you your home. So please do me a favor. This just 3-month-old, I don't know what he is, maybe a border collie lab mix of some sort. He's tall and lanky, but not very thick, you know. He's up on Instagram and Facebook. I gave him a bath myself. He was quite dirty and stinky, but I wanted to get him fresh and clean and ready for adoption. So I bathed him. I gave him his pep talk. We are featuring him as our pet of the week, and we want to get him adopted this weekend. So you can help him by sharing his video. Instagram, Facebook, share. Let's get Lucky Lennon his home.
And you just look at him. He's got such a cute, adorable face. And, you know, your heart obviously melts when you look at his ears. When the vets looked at him, what did they say? Are his ears fine? What's going on up there?
They're fine, but they're fine now. But I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody just cut them with scissors. I mean, they were healed. Yeah, horrible. And if you want to know what's so ironic and why I think I'm so emotional about this dog, not that I don't cry all the time anyways, but in my little world back in Bakersfield when I was, becoming an adult and doing my work and raising my daughter and just living life, I had no clue that animal shelters were like a thing. I had no clue animal welfare and animal abuse. And I just was so naive. I didn't know that people treated animals badly. It never crossed my mind. And I was probably in my 20s and I was managing a big apartment complex, and somehow a story came to me about an organization called Marley's Mutts. And it was a guy who had been an alcoholic, and he got cirrhosis of the liver. He was on life support. He was just like dying. And he ended up going to his dad's house to basically die. And his dad's dog basically gave him purpose to live. And he started a rescue. He started a whole prison program. But at that time, his story was featured on the news, and they showed a few dogs that he started to help. And one of the first dog stories that I ever paid attention to as an adult was a dog named Soner. And he had got his ears cut off with scissors, even lower than this poor little guy, but he looked similar to him. So that was my very first dog kind of story that caught my attention. And I started at that point following organizations, doing donation drives, did lemonade stands where I worked to raise money for Marley's Mutts. And here I am. I started a whole almost 12-year career in animal welfare based on that kind of motivation and story. And now my first day back at work, I got to meet this sweet little soul, and I just feel really committed to getting him his forever home. So I need your help. Share that post, and I hope that I can give you some good news very soon. He's got such sweet eyes. And again, he holds no grudges. He's just happy to be alive. He's wiggly. He didn't even know how to take treats. I tried to offer him treats, and he didn't even know how to take a treat. So we already love him. He's happy. He's healthy. He just needs someone to show him what life really is supposed to be. So please help me find Lennon a home.
Well, Woods is just the place to do that and welcome him in and get him ready for that forever love. What else has been going on in cooking at Woods right now?
Well, I got to tell you, we've got some good submissions for our Woods Pets of the Year calendar, but we still got a couple weeks. You can still enter for your loved cat or dog. I'm having a good time scrolling through, seeing who has been entering. There's some really cute photos, but we still have time. You can join in the party, or you can go on and vote. I already have voted for a few of my favorite photos. I don't even know the people. I just chose the favorite photos that I loved. So $1 per vote. You can vote for your favorite, help raise some money for Woods and dogs like this sweet little Lennon. This is where that money goes. Every dollar we raise is another life we get to save. So our Pets of the Year calendar is going until the end of September. More information on our website, woodshumane.org.
Check it out, woodshumane.org. We got Robin Coleman. My favorite part about finding forever homes for dogs, even cats. This dog is a cutie, and this dog just grabs at your heartstrings and needs a home. Let's give Lennon a shot. So go to woodshumane.org. Check them out. Robin, as always, it's fantastic to chat with you, and I've missed you so much. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, glad to be back, and I just went full into a heart-wrenching story, day one.
Talk to you next week. Have a great week. We'll chat soon. Thanks for being Up and Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, we got to give Lennon a shot. This dog, this face, those ears, those eyes. Check him out. Link in the show notes to the Woods Humane Society. Let's give Lennon a shot. All right, well, looking ready for a little bit warmer temps this weekend. It's going to be cooling down. Next week looks a lot like this week. Our favorite wineries are harvesting grapes right now. It's an exciting time of year. Thanks to our friends Moonshiner Collective for original music on this show called Start Again. Stream them wherever you get your music, moonshinercollective.com. Also, Josh Clapper, Tamber Winery, giving us the Tamber Lobro Studios. They're in mid-harvest right now. They're in the thick of things. Taste their beautiful wines in the village of Arroyo Grande. Timbre is how you spell it, tamberwinery.com. Thank you to you for rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing a friend. A lot of people sharing the podcast after our conversation with Adam Lockwood. It's been pretty wild, pretty cool. So thank you so much for sharing what we're doing here. Get to AdamMontiel.com for any and all questions. Hit the Connect tab. Brand new episode of Where Wine Takes You publishes later today as well. Till Monday, I am Adam Montiel. I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you for being Up and Adam.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.